It's not going to be smooth sailing.
It isn't so much about finding the right person. It is about being the right person.
Don't try to be nobody else's couple, because you got to be you.
And that Viagra don't work all the time.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk after this interview.
Well,
I give you the flowers.
You have to be careful about how you choose your husband. You can date to figure out about, different people, but at the end of the day, you don't marry for potential.
Okay. First thing is to continue to work hard on yourself. A successful relationship isn't so much about finding the right person. It is about being the right person. You got to be right in your thoughts, your actions, your motives, your character. Mm-hmm. You work hard on yourself. Always present the best version of you that you can. So work hard on yourself.
I will say, and I've shared this before, for one, and I know it's cliche. Everybody, when you get married and you talk, go to weddings, everybody say, keep God first. Well,
you marry for someone who is actively performing the way that you're expecting or you're needing your husband to perform. And the reason why I say that is because if you're just getting married just to, whatever, it's no big thing, I just want to get married, then you're not doing it for longevity.
So the biggest advice that I like to give other couples is to, for one, just don't hit below the belt. Sometimes there's going to be times where you disagree on things, and it's fine to disagree. When you start saying things to intentionally hurt somebody, that's hitting below the belt to me.
Exercise patience, because you're going to need it also. Mm-hmm. He is very patient with me, as I am very patient with him. Patience and forgiveness. And when I say forgiveness, it ain't, you say forgiveness, people think it's like what happened? It's not even a big thing. It literally is a daily, just a daily thing to make sure that you guys are communicating. And, wherever you may have failed to communicate or wherever there may be any kind of misunderstanding, that you address that and forgive that and keep it moving.
When you're looking at longevity, you got to understand, is this the type of man that's going to be able to grow with me? Is this the type of man that is going to take action and make decisions? Because there's a lot of people with potential and they're still in potential 30, 40 years later.
Keep God first. He is the head of everything. He is the head of everything. The Bible says, in all things acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. And that's for everything. That's for everything with your relationship, your marriage, bills, kids, whatever. In all thy ways acknowledge God, and he will direct your paths.
I would say just being patient. I think it took time for us to really get to know each other, and we still have our quirks. But I think, they call it like the 7-year hump or whatever. So once you get past that, usually it's like, I feel like we're at a point where, we've never really had big issues, but any of the big issues that we had earlier on, like we're past all of that, and we're just kind of, I guess, living life.
Choose your battles carefully, and everything doesn't need to be fought over. Some things it happened, move on.
Yeah.
Know that I'm responsible for what I draw out of her. She's responsible for what she draws out of me. So you always have to be mindful of what you say to her, what you do for her, how you treat her, what you say, how you carry yourself. Because you represent her, she represents me.
You want someone who you can grow with. And what I mean by grow with is, hey, this is the phase that we're in, because no marriage, no person stays stagnant in one phase of their life for the rest of their life. Okay. When you're young, you want to have fun, right?
And we try to remember that when we have disagreements, that the purpose of the disagreement is for us to agree in the end. So if we throwing stuff at each other, that's just to hurt each other. And sometimes, you do that, it don't have nothing to do with the argument. You hurt and you want somebody else to hurt. Don't hit below the belt.
Second thing I would say is keep your flaws and your struggles to your, within the confines of your marriage. Now, I understand people have counselors and stuff they need to do that. But when you talking about, sharing friends and family, no, don't do that. Because, like I said before, you all will make up and then your friends and family be mad at your spouse because of something that you done shared with them.
Communication, that's the basis for life.
And we're still working on it.
We're still working on that.
What is this? 14 years
Already?
going on 15 years. We still are working on communication. And see, that's a part too, right? And it's part of why I shared that. Like yesterday, I'm about to have to email Shelton and Key and be like, we can't do this because we're getting on each other's nerves. We can't.
There's another phase where, okay, we need to start planning for the latter part of the years, retirement, or what are you thinking about there? And then is this person going to be able to accept that we all get older, that there will be change, that they need to communicate, which is key. Communication is so important.
I would say always know you're not going to like your spouse every day, all day. That's impossible.
So I think just taking time to, which we need to get better at, as connecting together. And, we get so involved with the family that we really don't have a whole lot of time for us. I think we're getting there now because the kids are older, but just trying to, try to stay connected, try to spend time, try to be understanding. And yeah.
Can you give me some examples?
No, go ahead.
But you want to know, would this person be around to change my diapers, to be there if I get sick, or be there when, I'm limping because, my knee is bad now, or my eyesight isn't good, or my hearing is going down. Too many people are looking for, they're looking for a mate for right now.
Thing is, love is a decision. We choose to love. And so if you really love somebody and you say you love them through the good, the bad, the ugly, because relationships is cool until you go into the marriage thing.
Do what works for you. Don't try to be anybody else. One of the things that I think really helped us was that we didn't have other couples to look up to. We didn't have anybody that was married in our lives that, we would have considered having a successful marriage that we could model ourselves after. We were winging it. And so we had to build what our marriage looked like on our own. And that was such a blessing. And we didn't know that at the time, but to just model yourselves after yourselves, model yourself after God. Don't try to be nobody else's couple, because you got to be you and you got to do what works for you.
A part of why I wanted to say, as recent as yesterday, we were bickering, is because I don't want people to feel like, okay, so here we are arguing again. This must be a mistake. Or, here we are, butting heads again. I might have made the wrong choice. Always go back to the beginning.
But who you are right now, you don't stay that person if you're growing. So can this person grow with you? And to me, that's what I call ride or die. That means, it doesn't mean you're not going to go through things. It doesn't mean you're not going to go through trials. It's a matter of, can you grow through it? That's what I figured. Not go through it, but grow through it.
And when you go into marriage, then you taking a vow. You taking a vow. And in those vows, you're saying for better or worse. And so when you can think about, okay, so what is worse? What is worse? So, and when you come up in your mind with what is worse, so you're saying for better and that thing.
This is another human being with their own thoughts, opinions, feelings, everything. So you're not going to like them every day. But if you continue to love that person and want your love to grow, your relationship would definitely flourish. And don't give up so easily. Because the first 25 million times, you got to push through it.
And, make sure you ask the right questions. Look at what their relationship is with their parents. Look at the relationship is with their family. How are they with those that are around them? Are they a form of a leader, or are they very easily swayed whichever way? Are they making decisions or not?
So I can give you an example of understanding, since she's all poetic and stuff. Mm-hmm. So part of understanding is when you have a wife that has an earned doctorate who decides to quit her job all of a sudden, and you just supposed to sit up there and just take it because, I just feel like doing this. So that's what I think understanding is.
Well, thank you for being so understanding, but it's working out. So
if that's your wife, that's your husband, that's your long-term boyfriend, or whoever it is, you got to be able to communicate what's going on, and that person needs to be able to, if it's something wrong, that person needs to be able to say, what, you're right.
Can this person make decisions, and is this person going to help include the growth within life to move forward? So that's my advice for the younger generation trying to find love in these streets.
You did it in the first place.
Yes, remembering that common ground, and things change.
Always remember why you did it in the first place.
Why you did it in the first place. Remember those vows if you are married, because I know people may be watching who aren't yet married, but you are going to have vows. Remember those vows, because as much as you remember where you were in the beginning, we also have changed over the years.
Kids come along, everything changed.
Not even just the kids, all that grief. I don't think I'm the same person. I don't think I'm supposed to be the same person I was 15 years ago.
So don't rush into if marriage is something, a lot of people just want they want a ceremony. They want to, get their dress and they bouquets and all these people who just came to get a free meal and all this stuff. They want the ceremony. They want the lights but marriage is serious, y'all. And God honors it. And trust me, when you do the right thing by God, He's going to do the right thing by you. I'll relinquish. Go ahead, Michelle.
And having faith. So taking that leap of faith with whatever it is in your relationship. Yeah.
So the faith, you mean forget all the bills we got. I'm just going to step out on faith, and the bills.
Step out on faith. Things will work out the way they're meant to work out, and just pray, keep God first, and everything else will fall in place.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk after this interview.
So to me, 2024, young people moving forward, first and foremost, get away from what you're seeing on social media. Get away from what you're seeing on these videos. Don't disrespect yourself and be out there saying, I'm going to do this and that and the third for somebody just to get likes and clicks.
Now, is it always like that? No, because as men, we don't want to hear when we wrong. Even though we know we wrong, we don't want to hear nobody else tell us that. Because then we become defensive, and in our minds, like, don't be talking, just at the end of the day, we was wrong. So you got to communicate.
Be real with what you're looking for in life. Know who you are first. First, you got to know yourself. If you want to be dirty nasty, then that's who you are. Then try and use somebody that's dirty nasty just like you are.
Physically you change and emotionally you change. And yes, you may argue, but if you remember what initially brought you together, and if you stay
on that foundation,
built on it, which for us, thank God, is God, keeping God at the center, you could get through anything. And don't look at other people's relationships and what they show you, especially here on social media. Come on, y'all know everybody looks perfect, right? All the time. People don't always talk about, their arguments or their challenges. They show you the highlights.
Show you the highlights, yeah.
Remember, everybody got something going on.
And another thing, enjoy each other. It's nothing in this world that should be so horrible that you have to bicker and fight and be jealous if another person speaking to your spouse. Like, I know my man look good. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment.
For me, it's similar to what she said. You're two separate individuals with separate feelings. You've come together as one. And it took me some time, 7 years.
7 years.
It took me some time to actually start to remember that even while I don't see a situation one way, her feelings needs to be validated just the same.
And for a woman, I got 2 daughters, and I tell them, y'all need to find y'all a king. Your dad is a king. If that man can't perform king level stuff, take you out, put you first, open your door, carry your bags, and support you financially. Not you supporting him, support you financially, and make sure every day you wake up that you know you are the apple in the center of his eye, then he's not for you.
Trust him. Trust. You got to just work to build the trust every day. Fight. If that's your marriage, if that's your marriage or relationship, and you trying to take your relationship to another level, there are going to be things and people who will try to get in the way of it.
Don't be so quick to fly off the handle. And I'm gonna share something personal. So it was at a point in our marriage that I felt like Andre wasn't supporting me in a certain situation, and it bothered me to the point that I didn't know. I'm not saying that I was leaving him or anything, but it bothered me like really, really bad. Like, dang, should I continue this or what? I didn't know.
My caveats that I think throw everybody off. What's your credit score? What you trying to do? That's another trick question. So a lot of, if they don't even know what a credit score is, keep walking.
Or they don't know what a goal is.
Because that means they don't have no goals. They don't have no values. If you don't know what your credit score is in 2024 or how to build credit or what you're doing, wrong person.
Anyway, one of the things that I would give to a new couple is that have fun in watching your spouse grow. So when she did take that leap of faith to quit her job unannounced because the wind was blowing in the wrong direction, I just had to sit tight and say, okay, this is what my baby wants to do, and we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay.
Yeah, we're okay.
All right. So,
You have to fight, and even if you got to fight yourself, because sometimes yourself is the problem.
Other people, not each other.
Right. No, don't fight each other. No, I'm sorry.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, don't fight each other, but fight other people. Fight for your marriage. Fight the enemy away from your relationship. You know, you got to fight for it every day. Not just, all right, I've been fighting these last 3 days. I'm tired. Nah, because he don't get tired.
If you want success in life, you got to look for somebody else that wants success in life. You want love, you got to find somebody to look for love. And one other thing is, love don't hurt. Love don't bring you no pain. So love don't come with black eyes and bruises and I ain't gonna do it no more. Love don't come with regret. Oh, I hate that I met you. Oh, you ruined my life. Love don't bring you none of that stuff. And I believe that the fairy tale is real. I'm living it.
I never flew off the handle with him. I just kept on going on with day-to-day life, dealing with what I was dealing with, even though I felt like I wasn't being supported like I thought that I should have been supported by him. And one day God spoke to me clear as day and told me that Andre couldn't support me during that time because he had other things going on.
If you can't see 40 years in that person, then you need to move on. I mean, because we all will get old at some point. So what happened when things change? And that Viagra don't work all the time. So sometimes you got to be like this. Oh, baby, I'm so glad I got you.
Just snuggle.
And just snuggle.
We can agree to disagree, but I still need to validate that she feels how she feels about what a situation is. And then we can discuss it and move forward from there. And it's taken some time to come to that, and I think that our relationship has been way better since I've come to that realization and have been practicing that every single time that we may have any sort of
Clash of the Titans.
clash of the Titans.
Yeah, so
it works.
Andre had other things going on in his life that he needed to deal with, that he couldn't be what I needed him to be for me at the moment. And I'm glad that I didn't, fly off the handle. I didn't, react at the time. I sat on it and I let it be. And then God spoke to me and I understood.
Don't try to live up to other folks' expectations. When we got married, people were telling me, by year 8, year 5, you should expect this. And by the time you get 10 years in, you should expect that. But that was their marriage. And I've seen some of those marriages. And yeah, so no.
One of the first things we made it clear that divorce was never an option. Whatever it is, whatever situations come up, we are going to get through it together. And we've been through stuff together, individually and corporate. We've been through stuff. And at the end of the day, this is my wife. She's been there for me. I will always be there for her.
Provision basically means, does this man has the know-it-all to know when he needs to take action on something, regardless of what it is? Doesn't mean they need to know how to do it, because there are just some people, depending on where they grew up, they don't know.
But in all reality, he was supporting me. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I would say, chill out. Every little thing doesn't deserve a reaction. You don't have to fly off the deep end, or you're not doing this, you're not doing that. If it's something that is not, a big deal, chill on it.
And keep working and just look towards better days.
And one of the main things is try your best to keep God as the center of your relationship.
That should have been the first thing. Huh?
That's the first thing.
If I'm down for a minute, I know that, our legacy will sustain. We're not going to lose out on anything, whether it's anything with the children, anything with education, anything with food, anything with your livelihood, a roof over your head, or whatever. Things are still going to continue.
At the end of the day, we're a team. The Bible speaks about, when you're married, you're one flesh. So if we're one flesh, we are a team. We are one, and we shouldn't be in a marriage to hurt each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a perfect road, and there are times that even with us, there are times that we have to remind ourselves to get back to that point where we keep Christ as the center of our relationship.
Don't live up to other folks' expectations. Whatever, you live up to the expectations that God has for your marriage and your relationship. You live up to those. As long as God is pleased, it's going to be all right.
So I just look at it as a plus, but provision is not just financial. It's emotional, spiritual, and physical. And it's very important for people to know that they are loved, they are heard, and they are being taken into consideration when anything is going on within the relationship and the family.
Support goes a long way. I mean, yeah, a lot of times we have our own things going on in our minds, in our lives, and we want to be support, but we just have our own stuff we got to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that, it's not going to be smooth sailing. I'm not going to say it's smooth sailing, but you will have a better grasp of the relationship that you're in and understanding.
That journey, watching her grow, watching her do her thing, that is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to watch your spouse kind of evolve into the person they want to be. Because when you get married, you're not going to marry the same person. We're almost 11 years in marriage, and she has evolved, and I am just excited at the woman that she is evolving into.
See how poetic he is.
And over the past last couple years, you know, it's been a mental thing with me, and trying to figure out things and overcome things, and still trying to hold it up together and be Big Dre and come on YouTube and feel like, you know, I have it all together, and I was literally hopeless inside. But, you know, thank God I'm over that hump.
All marriages begin the same way. They all begin as a collision of two histories. But the goal of marriage is that the two shall become one. The two becoming one doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that you go through. It's a long process. The Bible talks about as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. What happens when iron rub against each other? Sparks fly. You will always have that tension.
Yeah.
There's always going to be some kind of tension because we are two human beings. We think different and we act different. But like I said, the goal is that the two shall become one. And that is a process that you have to be committed to, the two becoming one.
Yep.
Men here provide, they think money only. They're not thinking about the other key things, and those other key things, believe it or not, are more important, because as long as a man thinks that way, the financials is never a problem. It's gonna come regardless. You just need somebody that's gonna know how to act like how he needs to act, and then when he gets the money, it's even better.
Was the support of Michelle and other people that was praying for me to help me get back to where I am. And now I'm able to, I'm stronger, I'm wiser, and I'm better. Now I can help support others. So yeah, man, if you in it, be in it for the long haul. Don't be in it just 50-50. Be 100. Keep it 100, you know, for both of y'all. So
don't treat your partner like they the enemy. The enemy is the enemy, and it's not the person that you sleeping next to, not the person you eat dinner with, not the person you are riding the car with. That's not your enemy. The enemy is trying to destroy you. The person next to you is trying to help you and build you.
No one makes me feel the way